Pick 'em up and lay 'em down right.
It was his participation in the civil rights movement that first made Heschel widely known.
Heschel אומר שאני התפללתי עם הרגליים שלי בצעדה למען זכויות השחורים. צעדה למען זכויות השחורים היא תפילה.
God is either the father of all men or of no men.
Heschel also publicly and passionately opposed the war in Vietnam.
How can I pray when I have on my conscience the awareness that I am co-responsible for the death of innocent people in Vietnam? In a free society, some are guilty, all are responsible.
החיבור קורה כשהנאצים עולים לשלטון. כי השל גוזר את הפאות, מוריד את הכיפה, נתפס להשכלה, אחרי שהוא כבר הוסמך לרבנות. הולך ללמוד פילוסופיה בברלין, ופתאום הנאצים עולים לשלטון. ופתאום הוא מבין שהעולם המערבי לא יכול לעצור את השואה. ופתאום הוא מבין שחייבים לתרגם את היהדות לשפה אוניברסלית שתמנע את השואה הבאה.
Just 6 weeks before World War II, he was able to escape from Europe. Heschel's late wife, Sylvia, remembered.
There were sisters of his who were killed. That was a very painful thing for him. Very. His mother died of a heart attack as soon as the Nazi came to the door. She just fell to the ground. That was awful.
But Heschel never blamed God.
He said God didn't do it, man did it.
When you ask Heschel, where was God during the Holocaust? His answer was always, of course, where was man? But if you read Heschel carefully, I would say God cares. God weeps with man at his sufferings. God participates in human suffering. And therefore God was there in the Holocaust.
At the Jewish Theological Seminary in New York, Heschel was a professor of social ethics and mysticism, two powerful strands of Jewish thought. From the prophets, he learned to speak out about the world's evils. From his ancestors, who were Hasidic Jews, known for their ecstatic spirituality, he learned to celebrate life.
I say that this world in itself is so fantastically mysterious, so challengingly marvelous, that not to realize that there is more than I see, then there's endlessly more than I can express or even conceive in just being underdeveloped intellectuals. The idea of a prophet is complex and consists above all of two things, or the message or the substance of what the prophet has to say, and of some extraordinary claim to an experience which is not given to other men. Let us ignore the second, let us take the first. I would say the prophet is a man who is able to hold God and man in one thought at one time, at all times. The prophet as a witness to that great mystery, or to what I would call meaning beyond the mystery, namely God, could still be alive and should serve as an example.
Then that raises the question, why pray to God then? If God is not going to interfere, if God is not going to intervene, if God is not going to help, what is the role of prayer?
First of all, let us not misunderstand the nature of prayer, particularly in Jewish tradition. The primary purpose of prayer is not to make requests. The primary purpose of prayer is to praise, to sing, to chant. Because the essence of prayer is a song, and men cannot live without a song. Prayer may not save us, but prayer may make us worthy of being saved.
Well, I'll ask you, what is the meaning of God?
One, the certainty that there is a meaning beyond a mystery, that holiness conquers absurdity.
In Man is Not Alone and other volumes, he said God expects and depends on human beings to carry out his will.
So Heschel can say to the world, you know, the challenge today is nihilism. He says the enemy we all face is nihilism. The world is going to hell. The sense of meaninglessness is pervasive. And we have to do something about this.
We are called upon to be an image of God. You see, God is absent, invisible, and the task of a human being is to represent the divine, to be a reminder of the presence of God.